the meeting of the November 19th, 2025, a meeting of the Lake Quinsigamond Commission to order. Thank you all for coming. And I want to review and act on the acceptance of August, September, and October 2025 meeting minutes. One of those months we didn't have a meeting. Is that correct? August?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. So has everyone had a chance to review September and October?
Yes, I
Yes.
haven't found them to be excellent summaries, though they didn't consider verbatim everything we discussed, but they were excellent summaries.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Review and approval of bills and expenses. What do we have, Bill?
Yes, okay. Let's see, we just going through this quick. We have 14 deposits and 4 bills. There was and I'll do them in temporal order. And just for completeness on the deposits, there was a miscellaneous stock cash deposit of $185 on the 12th of this month. And then there were 13 dock permit deposits, 65 each, for a total of $845 on the 14th of this month. That was for completeness. 4 bills that need to be paid. Bill number 1 is to the Community Advocate newspaper in Westboro, Mass. A legal notice for the drawdown of $206.26. Bill number 2, Community Advocate newspaper, Westboro, Mass. A public hearing held on 11/19/2025, which apparently everybody knows about, will take place in about 3 minutes, for $15.95. Bill number 3, the rental of a porta potty for a month for the police boathouse of $100. And bill number 4, the Flint Pond permitting survey for $250 to Solitude Lake Management. Those 4 bills need to be voted on.
Holy moly. Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda is for the hearing, but it's not supposed to start till 7:10, so I want to give everyone a chance to get here if they haven't got here already, so just so we're not starting things early. That said, I'm going to skip down to there's a public participation thing that I don't see on here, but there usually is. So is there, we have someone signed up for that?
Marguerite Cormier was signed up for the public, and also Harry.
Okay. Marguerite, we're going to squeeze this in before we get there, so please adhere to the 3-minute rule.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's what I like.
Could I give you some of these? Could I
Absolutely.
approach?
Yeah, so we can read along.
Oh, yes, sir. You could pass them all.
Thank you.
I didn't bring everybody's. I didn't bring enough.
Okay.
It's good to see you guys. You haven't seen me in a while. And welcome to the new members. Today's November 19th, 2025. My name is Marguerite Cormier. I want to thank the LQC board members and everyone else who could attend this meeting tonight in person and online to hear what I have to say. I'm going to talk about my thoughts about some issues in the Lake Quinsigamond October 2025 meeting, how the proposed solutions developed in 2024, how they worked very well in 2025, except it seems Flint Pond had no police presence or jet ski patrol due to mechanical issues, and how they can work better in 2026 boating season to keep our lake a happy and safe place for everyone. In the Lake Quinsigamond October Commission meeting, Mike Pica brought up some good points, which shows how we need police presence in September and October. Steve Power and I noticed in the latter part of the summer, September and October of 2025, an uptick in activity. The weather stays nicer longer, and we do not see the patrolling officers as often as we would like. In our annual visit to Chief Anderson, office, Stephen Power and I spoke about the activity and police patrolling on the lake this season of 2025 and how we can do better in 2026. We did notice a little less coordination of all the different police agencies being on the lake at the same time. This did prove to be very helpful in the past. With 2 watercrafts down, that explains a lot. Our hope is the police presence with all the different police agencies begins early in April 2026 and begins until late October at the boat ramps and on the water by checking for unregistered trailers or watercraft. This stopped the bad actors and made our lakes safer, especially when tickets and towing of watercraft and trailers were involved. I would like to thank Mr. Pica at the October 2025 meeting. You mentioned you were concerned about jet ski usage on the weekends, people using private islands. Mr. Pica, to help us, did you file a police report or call the police? And I know you won't answer, that's okay. In our annual meeting with Chief Anderson, he says, let us know. Report it directly to the Lake Commission, and that, for people who don't know, is lqc@shrewsburymass.gov, or Chief Anderson, it's kanderson@pd.shrewsburymass.gov. I was out on the lake myself during these months of September and October 2025 and saw the jet skis, but never witnessed them being dangerous or unsafe towards myself or others. Hopefully, the Worcester Police Boat will be back on Flint Pond next spring. That should curb the uptick in bad actors. We will work, meaning Stephen and I, with Worcester and try to get funding to help when a patrolling watercraft goes down to help us get it back up and running so the entire lake and Flint Pond is patrolled more often. How can we keep the proposed solution developed in 2024 continue in 2026? They worked so well in 2025. Steve and I are going to work with the commission and Chief Anderson in the spring to help facilitate getting multiple police agencies on the lake for better coverage to help get the proposed solutions developed in 2024 to continue in 2026. Since they worked so well in 2025, or if a particular area of the lake is in trouble, see something, email someone, put it in writing, report it directly to the Lake, I don't know why I can't say commission, lqc@shrewsburymass.gov, or Chief Anderson, kanderson@pd.shrewsburymass.gov. We would like to request a formal public hearing to speak about wake boats that cause destruction to our docks, shorelines, ecosystem, sinking of docked boats. How do we hold boat owners responsible for their overly big wakes? Last we spoke of this topic was in 2021. And question about Rule 31. Motorized boats or vessels of any nature exceeding 30 feet in length are prohibited on Lake Quinsigamond. Does not apply to crew boats. Why are 30-foot boats prohibited on Lake Quinsigamond? Thanks for listening to what I have to say.
All right, thank you, Marguerite.
Thank you.
All right, we're getting close to the hearing time. There's a couple of seats down here, all the way in, if you guys want to take them. There's one over here, and there's one over there, so please, don't be shy. Take your seat. You can stand there if you like. Just want you to be comfortable. All right, so Harry, where are you?
Right here.
Oh, so, well, because you're going to speak on the whole crew thing?
And item 4.
So it's just going to be redundant in the hearing.
I wasn't
Correct.
sure, I guess.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine, yeah, all right. Sorry, I was meant to reach out to you and I didn't get to it, but you'll be good, okay? All right, coming into the hearing, I just want to go through a few, ground rules, is that anyone who needs to speak and wants to, talk about this subject is welcome to do so. There's a sign-up sheet up there, so we're going to try to do that in order. I'm not going to try, I'm going to do it in order as the sign up. And, this is not first of all, this discussion is a very narrow thing. It's not about jet skis or wake boats or anything in this particular point. This is basically fair use of the lake, and it's really a time period that's early in the morning. So say, the 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., 10 a.m. time frame. where, you know, legitimate sport activities, you know, are taking place. So the issue has been that, you know, as I see it at least, is that, you know, these two particular types of activities, which is rowing and towing, I'm going to put all that in one category, cannot coexist in the same water at the same time, especially not safely coexist in the same water at the same time. And, you know, it brings up issues, whether it's fair use and, you know, they can't get around because the crew boats seem to take up a lot of space, and of course, the tow boats make a wake that aren't compatible with crew boats or safe for crew boats out there. You know, I think it would be I'm not going to speak for the commission, but on my side of it, I would, you know, I would prefer that, you know, this was an issue that the, you know, the stakeholders could self-correct and come to a third way where they all can share the waterways in some way or shape or fashion. Absent of that ability to figure that out amongst themselves, and, you know, we want to hear what everyone's side is because we want to listen to all the voices. And, you know, if it means that the Lake Commission has to put in additional rules, then, you know, that's what we'll do. But, you know, the main topic here is to keep things safe and to cut down on the conflict that we have, because, you know, it is a lot of phone calls and, you know, people are complaining on one side or the other. So, you know, and I think that even whatever we do would be focused on that particular time in the morning, because it's not a lot of jet ski activity at 5 a.m. And there's not, you know, actually not that many people are out there, period, at that point in time. So, except for the two parties we spoke of. So that's where we're going to go. Also, this is not a hearing about personalities or personal attacks. I would like everyone to, you know, be professional and courteous, and you know, we want to hear what you say, and also that everything goes through the chair. So when I ask you, if I ask you to, you know, to move on or to go, I don't want anyone monopolizing the microphone. So if I ask you to, you know, wrap up your comments, please do so as, you know, as quickly as possible. If you fail to do so, you know, the gavel will get louder. And so I don't, you know, I want to make sure that that's why it's going to be a controlled thing. This is basically to find out what we can do to bring everyone together here and to have a safe and, you know, healthy use of Lake Quinsigamond. So with that said, we're going to hold the hearing. Do I have the list? Thanks. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I could, a couple of the rules of order. If someone wants to speak, fine, but everybody would have to speak first before somebody gets to speak a second time, I think, relative to Roger's rules of order.
Good point.
Someone can't stand up and start a rebuttal when everybody who wants to speak first hasn't got to speak yet. So,
This is, you all set? This is not a debate. Like, we're not going to go back and forth with it. We want to hear everyone's comments and, you know, evaluate and, I guess, consider what everyone's saying. So that's what this is about. We just kind of, you know, some of this we're not informed at. I know in PD, we'd certainly like to hear what's you know, what's going on out there. So, and Mike's right. You know, we want everyone to have a chance to speak at least once before we have other people. Please don't stand up and, you know, yell, "I object" or something to anyone's comments, because it'll be ruled out of order. All right. So, moving on. The first person I have on here is Christine Francor. Come on down. So also, please state your name and address for the record, clearly.
Christine Francoeur, 180 South Quinsigamond Ave, Shrewsbury. Can you hear that clearly?
Pull the microphone a little closer.
A little bit closer? Is that better? Sorry, I'm not a great public speaker, so I'll do my best. I do want to say, though, that I know on behalf of all the folks that I hear that are, quote, towers, safety is also our primary concern. So with that, like, most everything that I have to say kind of relates back to safety. And I do want to point out that there are rules on the lake already. In fact, the QRA has a set of rules. I'd like to highlight some of those that seem to be subjectively followed, shall we say, and make sure that as an organization, the QRA is enforcing the existing rules that we have in place. Rule number 2, traveling north, they stay on the shores of Shrewsbury. Rule number 3, traveling south, they stay on the shore of the Worcester side. I'll just, from experience, this is not consistently adhered to. There's reasons for staying on the shore. Power boats cannot go along the shorelines. We try and stay in the middle of the lake as much as possible, so that way we have room for everyone to use the lake. So I just want to keep in mind that, again, there's a reason why we also want those that are not in power boats on the shoreline, because A, sometimes they're not visible. It's extremely difficult to see, especially a lot of these crew boats. When they're in the middle of the lake, you're not expecting them. Again, the rules state they should be on the shoreline, so it is difficult to see. It causes a great deal of stress for many of us that are driving, because we're constantly on the lookout, making sure that we're avoiding any kind of individuals that may be traveling through the middle of the lake. Crews must pass single file through the narrows, both directions. Rule number 8, I can tell you that I consistently have a good view of the narrows, where I see crew boats with chase boats flying through the narrows, ignoring the speed limit of 6 miles an hour that was put in place to ensure, because there's low visibility, that folks are going slow, so that if there is a kayaker, paddleboarder, there's ample time to identify them and not hit those individuals. So again, crew boats must pass single file. I'm seeing individuals racing through there consistently. I started tracking by dates. I stopped, because at the end of the day, there were 1 or 2 that weren't racing through the narrows or weren't double through the narrows. Coaches and rowers should always consider safety to be the primary rule. I would argue that when we have crew boats in the middle of the lake, changing direction, stopping in the middle of areas that are extremely narrow or do not allow egress for other boats is not safe boating behavior. The QRA considers being a good neighbor to be the second most important, including to all other boats on the lake. So again, I just want to remind individuals that the QRA does have rules and regulations, and I think it's important that we adhere to those for a number of reasons, including safety. That being said, there are obstacles south of Kings Point. Anything north of Kings Point, it's over 2 miles of clear visibility where rowers have the ability to follow the QRA's rules closely, traveling on the north side, keeping close to Shrewsbury Shore, traveling on the south side, keeping to the Worcester Shore. The minute you get past the Narrows, you have a number of pinch points. You have multiple blind spots with all of the islands, and then you put crew boats that are 60 feet long, multiple, side by side in these areas. It becomes an incredible safety hazard. They are no longer on the sides of the lake. They are traveling through the middle of the lake. They are coming behind islands. They are, again, it is incredibly difficult to see these boats. It is a very stressful, if you are a boat driver, it is incredibly stressful. You are constantly looking out for crew boats. And again, it's very difficult to see them with all of these obstacles and with the number and volume of boats that are being put down there, especially those that are 8-mans, 60 feet long. If you want to discuss fair use of the lake, it basically shuts down the lake for the entire area, other than crew boats. So again, I would advocate that we limit at least use of the south side of the lake. to anything less than a certain length, and boats, 60-foot crew boats do not belong in an area like that where there are too many pinch points and too many blind spots. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, next I'm gonna, Joel Franklin.
Joel Franklin, 70 South Quinsigamond Ave. I can't believe that we're here talking about this. It's a public lake. And you're trying to favor somebody. You should get the parties together and work it out.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, thanks. Okay, Stephen Power. You all set? All right. Stephen yields his time. Peter and Patty, Orlando Fullerton. Maybe I may have the writing wrong on here. That's us. Is Peter and Patty in it? We're good? Oh, okay. There you go. Next up, John Mack. You all set? Paul. Yep. You want to come up?
Paul McCrowan, 117 Lake Ave in Worcester. I'd like to kind of reiterate a lot of what Christine said, but most importantly, it is a safety factor. When in the spring and especially in the fall, when the crew boats are preparing for their races, there is so many crew boats out there that a power boat of any size can't do anything without creating an issue for a crew boat of any size. There needs to be some sort of control by both sides, but having that many crew boats on the lake at one time, and they're coming in both directions, there's no way you can run a power boat on the lake at given times. And if you want to talk about 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. when the crew boats are out practicing early morning, and the ski boats are out there trying to take advantage of calm, flat water, it's difficult at best and not safe. When you come to spring and fall and the crew boats are preparing for their races, and I love them, but at the same time I hate them, and it's a function of there's just too many out there at one time, and you can't put a power boat out there at the same time. I don't care what you're doing. Even if you're just traveling down the lake at 30 miles an hour, putting out a regular wake, it's not safe for the crew boats, and it's not safe for the power boats because of the number of crew boats that are out there practicing. And I love the fact that they're practicing. I love the fact that this sport exists, but it's not safe because of the narrowness of the lake, especially south of the Route 9 bridge. It's just too tight, too many obstacles, too many blind spots, and I think I've covered it, but I think those are my concerns, and I see it all the time because I'm right there, I'm just north of the Marine Corps Club on the point, and I see it all the time, and it actually scares me when I see the kind of activity that's out there with the number of crew boats that are out there. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you. All right. Next up, Steve Christo. Okay, and then I have, I'm going to mess this name up. Kamara Oira. You all set? Was it really bad? I'm sorry. Amira. It's much nicer than what I said. All right, sorry. Okay. Just so we have a fair representation, is there anyone from the rowing community that would like to speak on the topic here? Harry? Up. Mike? Who wants to go first? Go ahead, first. All right, thanks.
Good evening. I hope this works with the microphone here. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Harry Sankarat. I live at 35 Trowbridge Lane here in Shrewsbury, and I'm speaking as a town resident, but also as the president of the Quinsigamond Rowing Club, which is the Masters Rowing Division out of Donahue Rowing Center, and we're not part of the Quinsigamond Rowing Association. That's the school's part. So, and to allay fears, so we're firmly in the self-correcting camp on this issue. But I do have a couple of comments that I'd like to share. The QRC does not believe a change in the lake rules is needed. By and large, the various users of the lake get along just fine, and we respect each other. The rowing users of the lake far outnumber the water skiers, and that's only counting the programs with the schools and the masters on the lake. That doesn't even take into account visiting crews that we have here during the spring. Given the very natural features of the lake, safety issues do indeed arise when high-speed boat operators convene with slow-moving craft, such as rowers. Rowers, however, are not the only slow-moving craft. Trolling fishing boats, kayaks, we've heard about stand-up paddlers, and similar can appear around corners. Now, the law is clear about what a motorboat must do when the visibility is obstructed. Blind spots are obstructions. Besides the small number of petitioners, we're also dealing with a rather short time window. We've heard about the early morning. Some of the schools also practice in the afternoon, not sure if that's an issue. And then certainly seasonal aspects deserve consideration as well, such as today when I was able to row the whole length of the lake without any restrictions, and I'm not sure that we want to prohibit that. The layout of the lake makes it difficult to come up with geographic restrictions. Prohibiting rowers from using certain parts of the lake would not eliminate the safety concerns for kayaks and stand-up paddlers. On the topic of limiting the number of boats that can row side by side or abreast, I want to emphasize that the ability to row next to another crew actually increases safety and not the opposite. When crews row side by side, they can communicate, monitor each other, and react quickly if someone has a problem. Remember, rowing shells are narrow and vulnerable to wakes and wind. For competitive rowers, side-by-side rowing is also an essential element of training. On most parts of the lake, side-by-side boats also aren't a major issue. The lake is wide enough that it doesn't cause meaningful obstruction. And in the few narrower sections, the row already naturally adjust. The suggestion that different rules should apply in different areas of the lake is not realistic. It's also important to recognize that rowers already follow well-established traffic patterns, we've heard about that, designed specifically for safety. And while concerns have been raised about water skiers having to go wide or slow down when rowers are present, I ask that we consider the balance of inconveniences. If a water skier needs to adjust speed or trajectory briefly for safety, that is no more burdensome than when rowers must stop rowing entirely to prevent a motorboat's wake from capsizing us. Both groups occasionally need to yield to maintain safety. That is simply part of lake sharing. The QRC does not support new constraints of lake use for rowers. We do not think changes to existing rules are necessary or warranted. We are, however, advocating that we respect each other's rights and get along. Already there aren't enough patrols on the water to enforce current laws, and more rules would not help if they were disregarded. The key here is to give each other space so we can all make best and fair use of the lake. Those are my comments, and I'm not sure if the Lake Commission has any questions for me.
Not at this time.
All right, thank you very much.
Or we can have questions afterwards, I guess, from us. All right,
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner and Board, for recognizing my name. My name is Michael Spillane. I'm a lawyer in Worcester. I'm also a rower. I scull in the lake by myself, although I am a member of the QRC in our master's program. The following are my observations just from this past summer, where I got to see how the motorboats, how the other scullers interface with one another. I really didn't have a problem at all this year. There's really no problems at all with visibility, particularly the big, large crew boats that I see. I see the water skiers, and it's really only one or two boats, really. And for the most part, this year I've noticed that whenever the water skiers are out in the south part, I would restrict my rowing to the narrows, and then I would just concentrate my training going back up to Route 290. I think a lot of rowers actually did that because, quite frankly, one boat causes a washing machine effect upon the whole lake. So all the wake reverberates from the seawalls and back into the center of the lake. And it really presents a great challenge for mediocre rowers like myself trying to get better. So it's either that or wake up at 5 a.m., try to beat the water skiers if you want to really go down all the way to the south part of the lake. So my suggestions are practical. Because of the few water skiers, I know that Mr. Joe May has a Google spreadsheet that really anybody can access if he gives them the ability to access it. I would probably invite the water skiers to just simply put down the days that they're going to water ski. That way I know, well, geez, they're going to go out. Well, I'm not going to go past the narrows. Very simple. That's a common sense, practical approach. Doesn't take anything longer than getting on a computer and then you've done your job. If that can't happen, the most simple thing, I would suggest going back to you, Mr. Commissioner, your opening statement that the two groups, the scullers, rowers, water skiers, cannot coexist, and to institute a rule prohibiting the rowers from going any further than the narrows and the water skiers from really going beyond the narrows up to the bridges. In my mind, if that has to happen, and it's your decision to make, boy, that says a lot about us as a society. The fact that we just can't communicate, and what a shame. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so I apologize to a bunch of people here because I didn't notice there was a second sheet. I probably was reading out the second sheet, so I'm going to call on Jeff Sturgis?
It's Sturgis, yes.
Sturgis.
I have nothing to add beyond what Mike and Eric all
Okay,
stated.
thank you. Let's see, I'm not sure what this says. Says Paul, can you read that?
Philip?
Philip?
Yeah, Philip Tuttle.
Yep. Yeah, please state your name and address.
Yeah, hello, Philip Tung, 22 Millwood Drive, Shrewsbury. I've been a rower and a coach on the lake for 30 years now. I'm also a boater on the lake and have a few power boats. So certainly understand the differences in the sensitivity of the rowers and the boat users on the lake. I am also a QRA board member, so I am here. Patrick and Thad couldn't be here. So this is the first time that some of these concerns have been brought to the QRA board. And we do make it a point at the start of every season to go over the lake rules with all of the rowing community that's coaching on the lake and disseminate that out. Have a start of season meeting with the coaches of every program. Some of you have attended some of those sessions in the past. So the the rules were outlined before, and the adherence of those rules is a key part of keeping the lake safe. So we certainly want to self-police ourselves and make sure that we're following the rules as a rowing community. So we're definitely open to suggestions. I think there was a good suggestion to find ways to increase communication or other ways to get the feedback of if there's programs or certain individuals who are not following the rules as they're outlined in the lake. So that's all I wanted to say. But thank you.
Thank you. Heather Federley?
Hi, I'm Heather Federley, 4 School Street in Sterling. And I just want to say I'm a member of QRC. I'm a master's rower, and I've also been a long-term water skier. I've skied on Lake Quinsig since I was in my 20s. And so I appreciate both sides of rowing and towing. I love it. I love both. And I think that people should be able to come together and come up with some solutions. I realize that, when you're trying to slalom ski, you're trying to get a straight line. So, in the past, a lot of the lakes I used to be on, we'd have a slalom course, and maybe that might be a solution. So they can have like a nice straight path, maybe in the middle of the lake. And then other crews, especially like some of the colleges that might not know, with the age shells, we have coxswains, and they'll pay attention to things like that. And they're just excellent. They love what they do. They're really careful. They do try to follow the rules. So hopefully, I think that, coming together is really great. And I think that as a community that loves that lake, Quinsigamond is one of the best lakes to row on the East Coast. That's why we have the Eastern Sprints. That's why everyone's come here for years. And it's also a great lake to ski on. Been skiing there forever. A lot of you probably know Paul T. He's one of my old friends. He does the January 1st ski. Like, I'm into it. So I understand both sides. So anyway, I hope that everyone can come together and that it can be done by the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next is Sherry Davis. I'm all set. You all set? Thanks, Sherry. Marguerite, we already heard from you. Joe May.
Thank you. I'm Joe May. I live at 790 Pleasant Street in Worcester. And I'm a member of the board of the Worcester Boat Club, which is slightly different. We're not members of the QRA, but we're subject to the rules on the lake. And certainly have a great interest in this. And I've been both a rower and a coach, particularly this year. I've been more or less the driving instructor for a lot of novices. So I'm acutely aware of some of the issues that have been raised by the towboats. And we've offered to sit down and discuss with them how we can refine the rules of travel, particularly in the South End. The very good thing about them is I think that they're willing to engage us in that. Their course of travel is very predictable. I don't think we need to use a schedule to say they're going to be out on a certain day. My thought is they're going to be there every day, like we are. And I think if we sit down, and we've drafted both some rules that refine within the QRA rules that are already established, but also a draft map in the event that we have outside coaches who come in, and that's occasionally the case, and they're not quite sure what to do, and they were the cause of some discord this year. We need to tighten up our act with those things. So we want to make certain that we can have an opportunity to sit down with the skiing community and say, this is what we'd like to do. We certainly should be able to coexist. It's not that difficult. And I think the rules that are already established, we just need to create a better understanding within our group. Like I said, I'm working with a lot of novices, so I'm quite familiar with teaching them the rules of engagement, if you will. And I'm hopeful that we can do that within the next couple of months and come up with a very reasonable solution.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Rob Lever.
Thank you, Rob Lever. I just moved, so I have to remember my address, 90 North Fitzwilliam Road in Royalston. I'm president of Worcester Boat Club, the Masters Club. Joe's on the board as well. I don't have a whole lot to add because I think there was a lot of good comments by everybody else already. Just do want to reiterate that safety is number one for us as well. And, I think we can work this out. Between the two groups and coming into next spring. So just want to thank everybody for their input.
All right. Thank you, Rob. Aaron Ryan. You all set, Aaron? Thank you. Harry, you're on here, so you already covered it. All right. Okay. And Jenny Cousins. All right. Yeah. You okay? Yeah. All right. And Derek, are you okay? No comment yet. Okay. Don't let it hold you back. You can... All right. If this is Jen or Jim. Byra? Burns, sorry.
Sorry, I apologize for my temperature.
That's okay. Huh?
I have a question for the commission. You have groups
Sir,
here.
your full name and address.
Oh, Jim Burns, 22 Montague Street, Worcester. You have representatives of sculling, rowing groups here. But is there a group of power boaters, skiers, which we, as a group, we can talk to, we can communicate with? Or are you just saying vaguely we should talk to some people about skiing on the lake?
There are a group of skiers in the back row over there.
I mean,
Christine, the first speaker would.
I understand, I saw her,
Yeah.
but is there a place we can go and meet with them, talk with them? Are they organized? Is there any organizational structure? Because we're organized. I belong to the Quinsigamond Rowing Club. And we can send someone to talk to some people, but are we talking to a random group of people, or if we're going to talk, will it be effective? I guess that's what I'm saying. Can we talk to people where what we say will be heard, we can listen to them, and it will be effective? Hypothetical.
I can't answer your question with and I don't mean authority like the Lake Commission.
It's almost rhetorical.
With any knowledge of an organization, but I think that they would be happy to get together as a group.
True. Are they representative of the people who water ski?
I believe so. At that time of day, I mean, the reality of this is, and I don't want to get into the weeds because I got a lot of people that want to speak, but the reality of this is there is a group of skiers that ski every morning, and they ski. Everybody wants to calm water, no wind, early in the morning. That's why they get up early in the morning to do it, just as the rowers do the same thing. So, none of that in and of itself is a problem, except that they're trying to use the same water at the same time, which is obviously, again, incompatible because it's a power boat and a cruise shell. So, one of the big issues here to bear in mind is Lake Quinsigamond's basic geography, or its size and shape. So the reason that Lake Quinsigamond is a I'd like to say exquisite rowing venue, and one of the top ones, both in the country and in the region and all over. It's got a really good reputation and has since the mid 1800s, or even before that. So, but the reason it is because it basically has the characteristics of a narrow river. So, that's why it is. So the narrow river part of it is, at some points in Lake Quinsigamond, on the long, skinny parts are basically 500, maybe 600 feet wide. you put 2 or 3/8 in that space, nothing can pass. So what I'm trying to say is if you want to meet with someone, I can point to the back of the room and you can work that out.
We've talked about
But I'm not-
communicating. I'm not a representative, I'm not on
Right.
the board or anything, but
I'm just trying to say that this is where it is. So if their organization, I don't know, but you can talk to the,
is there a mechanism that you, an effective mechanism for communication? That's what I got.
well, I'm telling you that, like, go and reach out and talk. That's a good mechanism, right? Go and introduce yourself and say, hey, I want to get
Well, I
together.
think Harry is more, I'm just a member of the club. Harry's the president, so.
All right,
Thank you.
good. Thank you. So, all right. What do you think of that?
Patrick Guida?
Okay. Sorry, we're crucifying the names here.
It's all right. My name's Patrick.
I'm going to
Guida.
ask next time that everyone print their
35 Pine Arden Drive in West Boylston. I am been rowing on Lake Quinsigamond and power boating for 45 years. I currently coach for WPI, but I'm not here representing the QRA or WPI. I'm here just talking about my experiences on the lake. I just want to reinforce that all of the collegiate programs and high school programs, which are great numbers of rowers on the lake on a daily basis from September and October and April, May, part of June. So a fairly small part of the year in total. But the numbers are in the several hundreds on a daily basis. I really appreciate that you're having this hearing so that people can air their opinions. And one of the things that I want to stress as a fact is that we are very careful with safety. And part of that safety element is that we do our best to abide by the rules that the QRA has written for themselves with everybody's agreement here. And those are mostly traffic patterns and how we move up and down the lake. We try to stay out of the middle third. We go down, we aren't going to stick on the shoreline. That's not practical or even safe for our boats. But to say that we can't see around islands or it's unsafe for any of our craft, 8s, 4s, pairs, singles, doubles, to negotiate any part of the lake around islands or whatnot it really doesn't make any sense to me because I'm a rower. So I will say that as a single sculler, it's very challenging sometimes in the morning to share the lake with water skiers because when they pass, I essentially have to stop my workout because I can't safely row through that kind of a wake. And am I afraid that I'm going to flip over? Not if I stop. So I'm okay. I'm like, man, okay. And in my younger days, I was really training, and I needed long distances, so it was somewhat angered me. But these days, I'm not doing that. So I get it. There is a shared aspect of the lake. But I guess I'm sitting here thinking, I'm listening to all the comments, and the big thing that comes to me is that the safety aspect is because there's fast-moving towboats negotiating the lake with rowing boats. And that's the elephant in the room, and we're trying to figure out how to share that. But to me, the safety concern is because of towboats and their wakes. And only because the rowing boats exist and happen to be there at the same time. And while I'm sensitive to the fact that we want to share the resource, of course, I always back off and think about the numbers of people, individuals pursuing their thing on the lake, and the rowers generally far outnumber the power boaters. And I'm not sure that matters to anyone, but I always come back to that and say, okay, but someone who wants to utilize the lake to water ski on, well, they have a right to do that. And I agree with everybody's statement saying that if we want to continue to share and be peaceable, we should just talk to each other and figure out ways that that can work. Thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you very much. All right. Greg Woods. I can read your writing. Oh. Doug Massett. You Doug? You good? And then Steve Davis, or Davies.
Steve Davis, live at 19 Canna in Shrewsbury. Wasn't planning on talking, but had a few notes that I jotted down that I felt like I should share. So I'm new to the area. I moved here earlier this year for the beautiful setting and particularly the lake. Invested in waterfront property specifically to ski regularly as the weather permits. I've been skiing and driving boats for almost 50 years and consider myself to be a very safe operator. Skiers need straight lines, consistent speed, and visibility. It is not safe to deviate with a skier in tow while they're actively pulling. I can attest to that. I've broken plenty of bones on the water in my past. What I've observed here is basically with the current rules in place, the skiing is essentially limited, or at least the kind of water skiing we're doing in the morning is essentially limited to south of the Narrows due to the no wake zones at the Narrows and Turnpike Bridge. I understand the rationale behind that, not arguing against it, just reiterating from a skier's perspective. That's essentially what's in place now. I've never had to share a lake with crew boats before. Where I come from, there was a lake for the crew boats, there was a lake for the water skiers. There was never any shared resource, so this is all new to me. I agree that this is really only an issue in the mornings from what I've observed and certain times of year. From a skier's perspective, the reason the timing is so important, yeah, I think you pointed out, the wind and things like that, but it's also boat traffic and it's also work schedules. We all have jobs. We can't, as much as we'd love to be out there at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday in July. We can't. We have to work. So that's really where that time crunch, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Is really not really all that negotiable with our work schedules. I've observed, I'm still learning from the locals here, but I've observed a lot of days where things work great and people get along, and I think people want to get along, and then other days where it's challenging for various reasons. I think there probably could be informal rules to limit some of the challenging points, in particular, around the Narrows and I don't know what it's called, the point off Davis Way, right there on the south side of the lake. That's really where, we get into some conflict with, high-speed boat and rowing boats and just the presence of a lot of vehicles. So, I mean, just to reiterate what some other folks have said, I think there should be a reasonable compromise, whether it's formal or informal, and I do think it would make sense to get together and kind of talk through it.
All right, is that it?
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I think that's it on the, oh, wait a minute, there's one more. Chairman of the boards.
I'm good, thank you.
You have any comment? Okay. All right, so,
Mr. Chair, can we ask, is there anybody else who was not on our list who would yet like to speak tonight?
please come by.
Hello. I'm a volunteer.
Your name and address, ma'am?
Heather Weisel and 505 Plantation Street in Worcester. And I'm a volunteer coach with the Worcester WPI team. And I've also coached with the QRA team, the QRC team. And overall, I feel like there's been really good cooperation, unspoken, between the water skiers and the rowing teams in general. There are definitely times when it's a bit of a struggle at different times of the year. But I feel like the water skiers have definitely worked on being aware of giving way when there were small boats And I really appreciate that. And there's been times when it's been a little bit of a challenge, but I feel like there's been a lot of cooperation in general. And I would like to really promote what Coach Guida said, and that is that getting together and talking together about an informal, not necessarily cut and dry times and all those things, that we can work together. I know there are folks in the back who are struggling with some of the ideas that the water skiers are sort of taking the short straw when it comes to being allowed to do what they need to do, and being out there at 5 a.m. in the morning and being aware of their amazing stuff that they're doing and all the work that they're doing, while we also have rowers who are on their own, doing their own and independent rowing. I think everybody's trying to do the same thing. It's just, we just need to talk a little bit more and get together and see if we can work this out together a little bit more constructively and cooperatively. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. We just need to work together a little bit better. And in my experience in the last 2 years, it really hasn't been terrible. There's been moments of bumps and, a little bit extra wake, a little bit extra lightening up of either side. But I think overall, I've been out there almost every day for the last 2 years. And I feel like we can all work together and really make things kind of gel together a little bit. There's not like one side or the other. It's really about coming together and making this lake, I've been everywhere, I've coached everywhere, and making this lake as unique and amazing as it is, and not really letting it be one thing or the other all the time. Let's just keep kind of coming together and making that work together. That's it.
Okay, is that it? Thank you. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? All right. Done with that part. So, does anyone on the commission have comments, questions? Input?
I guess I can make a couple comments. First, for those people who don't know, I am a rower, so just letting everyone know that. The last speaker reminded me of something. I grew up learning to row on the Charles River, Cambridge and Boston. Rowed there until I retired. And now, since I'm retired, I've been rowing on the lake for over a decade. No, everybody here should understand how wonderful they have it compared to something like trying to row on the Charles River, particularly the basin between Boston and Cambridge, particularly on a weekend when the weather is warm. They also don't have a restriction like we have in the lake of no boats over 30 feet in length. They have big boats that go, and not to mention all of the what are those World War II things that drive on the roads and also in the water. It can get crowded. We have it wonderful here. This is a great place to row, and it's nowhere as crowded as others. So we should just remember that. Life is not as bad as some people might think. And I guess I'll end with the second point is that the Lake Commission, if I remember my history right, I think has been in existence for 109 years, something. It's like 1916 or so. And our #1 charter from my studying of the history is that our whole purpose is to ensure that everybody gets to use the lake. Not just rowers, not just people who want to ski, but everybody gets a fair chance on the lake. And so with the present members of the board, just following this 100 years of experience, we have to look at ensuring that everybody gets a chance to have a fair use of the lake. And the one way not to go is trying to restrict the solve problem by saying, we'll restrict this part of the lake to this group and that part of the lake to another group. That just does not work for ensuring that everybody gets a chance to use the whole lake. If we said rowers in the north end and skiers on the south end, well, what does that mean for everyone in the motorboat in the north end? They have to drill holes in their motorboat and put locks in and row the boat down to the south end of the lake. And same for those people who live on the south end who happen to have singles or doubles and want to row. So we really have to work to somehow come together. And particularly the suggestion that the two groups should meet. This doesn't really have to be something that the Lake Commission has to make the decision for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
My concern, Mr. Chair, is that the point of having a meeting on this issue tonight is that there has been an issue. So it needs to get resolved, because otherwise, for the sake of safety, there may have to be some limitations. And that's all I have to say at the moment, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. I think that I'm don't have a bunch of comments at this point. Kind of want to digest this. I took notes, so got that going. Everyone in law enforcement? Oh, good, okay. All right, so I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, thank you, everyone.
The commission will go about the rest of its business. So if people are going to exit and talk, we'd ask that they talk outside, because we are going to conduct the rest of the business of the commission.
Just give him a minute, Mike.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, just want to ask everyone to kind of move outside of the room so we can we just have to finish the meeting. Oh, no worries.
We'd love the parties that came here tonight to talk with each other, but
Not
they
in here.
can do it out in the hallway.
Right now.
We allow for us to continue with our business.
All right, so,
Commissioners' reports.
1 second. Guys, oh, just so we can get going here. Oh, no worries. All right. So, I think that's it for that, and we'll move on to commissioners' reports. Mr. Pica.
Just some observations. Lake's drawn down. It's going down fast. There's a lot of seasonal waterfowl that are swimming and flying in. Use of the lake is probably, from my observation down, about 99% of what it might typically be. And that's relative to the lake going down, but also it's just frigid out there. I don't see Katie Liming here, but I do have questions in terms of just wanting to know what actually is going on at the Lake Ave pumping station. I see some big types there. And if this was scheduled maintenance, great. I'd just kind of like to know an answer to that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Dean, you have any?
Yes, sir.
No? Okay. Mr. Polito.
Nothing to report, but basically just to reiterate, that now that the lake is going down, to people that are going to be doing any work on their walls and whatnot, shoreline needs to be done with hand tools. You know, pretty soon you can be out there doing that, so I would take advantage of it with by hand.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Mr. Nelson.
No comments.
Sergeant?
Well, like you and I had spoke earlier, basically, I know there was a comment made earlier about Flint Pond. So we are in the process of trying to get a new boat in the capital budget for this next year. So hopefully we can get out there. They were a little reluctant to replace it due to the fact that at the time it was still functional. I don't know what they deem functional to be, but we are trying to hopefully replace that so we can get back on Flint Pond. And the one that they're looking to get will be able to go between the larger side as well as Flint Pond, being able to cross underneath the bridge, but still have the power and the speed to do the things that it needs to on either side. So that's kind of where we stand, and then hopefully we can maybe get the boathouse rebuilt so we'll put a second foot. That's about it.
All right. And as a question, is there anything that the commission can do to help your efforts on that? Or?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a matter of probably pushing city councilors and through the city council meetings to try to get their support and their backing to allow that to occur.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the, like I said earlier, that that effort that you folks did out there, Worcester PD did out there, was extremely effective, and it really tamped down. It was a big part of tamping down because you basically took out the beehive, we'll say, of the activity there, because they just seemed to not want to go in anymore. And it was interesting that because I live right there, so I see the boat all the time, and they're just kind of going back and forth, and there's nothing going on, and I'm like, it's probably the most boring duty that these guys have, So, but we appreciate it, and I'm glad it's boring instead of really crazy. But that just goes to show how effective it is just having you patrolling the lake and being out there. So, reminds me of the old beat cop days, I guess, right? So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
As Margaret mentioned, the absence of the jet ski. There's a broken component in the jet ski for several months towards the end of the season. However, jet ski is completely fixed now. It's winterized, and the boat's winterized, but it should be ready to go next spring. So we'll have a jet ski for Flint Pond.
Okay. Now I'm thinking maybe an SPD snowmobile. Okay?
I'll recommend it.
Throw that in there.
Yep.
Tell him Mike asked for it. All right. All right, cool. Is that it for everyone? Thanks.
How about you, Mr. Chair?
So, my report, I really don't have a whole bunch to say. We are taking steps, I should say, to do a drawdown on Newton Pond. The town had come down and cleared out there was a whole bunch of debris and stuff over the dam, so we had to clear that out. And the next step is to start pulling the boards up. Right now, there's water going over the top board and the spillway. So water's coming out of it, but we'd like to kind of at least accelerate that a little bit moving forward. So the plan is, because it's the old stop log. Well, not old stop logs; they're actually aluminum panels. So pretty high tech for what they are. But we got to lift those up, and we don't want to just pull the plug and drain the thing out there. There are 12-inch boards And so the lake was probably, our goal is probably to get it down 36 inches or the 3 boards to have the most effect on the bottom. Also, I want to bring up, and our new secretary, we want to, he spent some time, he went down, and Mike's actually doing a really, really good job with this and kind of organizing the administrative part of the Lake Commission. So that's a good thing, and we're looking forward to having a way more effective effort on that side of it. And you know, he spent a whole bunch of time sorting through those checks you heard that we cashed. Were all checks that we've been sitting around since the summertime for dock permits. The former secretary had taken a box of license plates and stickers off-site, so we just got those back. And she also had the town issued laptop that had information with the Lake Commission on the laptops. We're trying to recover. I think we recovered the laptop, but we don't. No, we haven't recovered the laptop. So we have to go through there. I am going to propose that the Lake Commission purchase a laptop and a printer so that the secretary can do the commission's business on it, not for his own personal use, because he's already got a laptop for that, but to kind of put everything on there, and that way, should there be a change in that position, we can move the laptop and the printer over, and we're not trying to, you know, transfer data off of someone's hard drive and all that. So we avoid the issue that we had with the previous secretary. So also they went through I believe Mike is going to write letters. There was 2 checks that were passed. They were over 6 months, so he couldn't do those. But I believe also Mike is going to, now that we have the stickers, is issue the stickers a little late, but just so they know that they have them and that they paid for them. The people have been asking for them, that they want their stickers as some kind of receipt. I would like to remind everybody that you're paying for the dock itself to go into the lake, not necessarily for the sticker. So if your dock was in the lake all summer, and I don't believe anyone has called you on it because you didn't have a sticker on the thing, then that was why we didn't send anyone out to check on that. If you did not put your dock in this summer because of that, please reach out to the commission, and we'll figure that part out. But everyone should get their sticker in the mail, although it's late, but you'll have it, just so you have it. If that's what you need for your records, you'll have that. I believe that the laptop, just to give everyone a heads up, and the printer will be under, probably under $3,000, probably closer to $2,500. So it's not going to be a big expense, but it's something that we need to do.
Would you like somebody to make a motion?
If you don't mind, that'd be good. This came about after the agenda was, because we had to have the hearing. So
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase of a laptop and computer.
And the printer? Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Any questions or comments? Is there a, I guess, yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And abstentions? Okay. That's it. And the next, that's my update on the Lake Quinsigamond Management Program.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Question?
Yep.
The Sacred Lotus?
I'm
Route
sorry.
20?
You're right.
Could you give us an update on that, Mr. Chair?
Yes, I can. So the Sacred Lotus did get treated. It did get knocked back. And now, as we stated in an early, before in an earlier meeting, is that the next step is to kind of sit and next season we will go and evaluate the site and see where we are with it, and come back with a more definitive management plan at that point for the Lotus. We knocked the plant down, but we did not remove the roots. And if anyone's seen the roots of a Sacred Lotus, it's very similar to the lily pad, where they're just big roots that They just kind of lay on the bottom. And they can get dormant for a while. That, it appears that's what happened last time, because we knocked it down before, probably 3 or 4 years ago, and we didn't see it for a couple seasons, and then it came back. So, there's some other things I want to look at too at the north end of the lake, because one thing besides the water chestnut over in Mud Pond is that there's a big crop of purple loosestrife over there, which I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but it forms a mass. It's still a plant, but it looks like land. So it looks like it's just a bunch of land it's in the far north end of that pond over there, right. I guess that's Sewell Street there. Comes from Route 70 down past the sand pit. Yeah. So right at that edge of the Lake Quinsigamond. So that's something I'd like to address next year. That's it. Do you have any questions on that? Okay.
Number 7?
Update from Katie Liming. She did not come tonight. So moving right along, update from the representative of the Lake Quinsigamond Watershed Association. Any comment from those? No report? Okay. All right, review correspondence. None? And set the date for the next meeting.
So, those 2 Wednesdays fall on the 24th
Right.
and 31st, so you're gonna have to either go before or into next year.
All right, I guess what's the pleasure of the board on December?
I don't think we need to meet.
All right. January. Then we'll set up for the January meeting, and then we'll come up with a schedule for the rest of the. Does that make sense?
January 28th of 2026. Mr. Chair, this is the last Wednesday of the month.
I haven't checked my calendar, but I don't think I have anything to do.
January 28th is the last Wednesday.
All right. Okay. So we're going to set that for that date. And at that, I will take
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.